Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, guys. We have some big news, a blockbuster trade between the Winnipeg Jets and the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll be taking a look at the details of that trade in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at this trade for Patrik Laine and Pierre Luc Dubois. It's official. It's official. The Columbus Blue Jackets have rid themselves of the Columbus Blue Jackets versus Pierre Luc Dubois saga, as it has officially come to an end. As Pierre Luc Dubois has been traded to the Winnipeg Jets with a 2022 third-round pick from the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for centerman Jack Roslvic and winger Patrik Laine. Okay, so now that you've seen the trade, let's look at each side, what they got, and the reasoning for it. So, looking at the Winnipeg Jets side of things, they pick up Pierre Luc Dubois, the former third overall pick back in the 2016 NHL draft. And this is a guy that wanted to leave Columbus. He signed a 2-year deal at $5 million per season. That's a great contract, by the way. And now he gets to go up to Winnipeg, which is a great opportunity. Probably not the place he was planning on going. But still, he's a 22 or 23-year-old center. Really solid. He's going to fit in that top 6 likely with the Winnipeg Jets forward group. Either you could put him on the wing on the second line with alongside Stastny and Nikolai Ehlers, or you could put Stastny on the third line center and bring Dubois to the second line center. Depends on where they want to put Dubois. If they want him at the wing or at center. They'd probably like him at center, I would think. Their center depth on the third and fourth line is a little bit weak. Trevor Lewis is the fourth line center. Yes, he did not retire yet, so that's something to keep an eye on. As well as a 2022 third-round pick. Now, the reason for this is a 2022 third-round pick right now is more valuable than a 2021 third-round pick. Why is that? Now, if you look at all across the Canadian Hockey League, the WHL, the QMJHL, the OHL, all those leagues are either shut down or postponed or a shortened season. So the scouting ability is going to be very difficult this year. So a lot of GMs are not even touching the 2021 draft picks. They'll keep the draft picks, whatever, and then look more toward next year's draft. And that's why the 2022 third round pick is more valuable than this draft picks this year. So that's why that happened. Now, looking at the Columbus side of things, the Columbus Blue Jackets pick up centerman Jack Roslvic, who is projected to be a second or third line center, a middle six center that's pretty solid, nothing overly fancy, but if you look at the Blue Jackets team, that seems to be the blueprint of the Blue Jackets. He'll probably fit pretty well under John Tortorella's system. I think he'll be a great addition to that lineup. But on the other side, you bring in Finnish winger Patrik Laine, who really is not known for being a defensive-minded player, more of a goal scorer. And he's picked up 50 goal seasons in the past, but under John Tortorella's defensive system, will we see those numbers regress? More than likely we will. And that's just the style of the situation for the Jackets. Now, this is a big trade for Jarmo Kekalainen because you look at what's happened over the past few seasons in Columbus. It's not been pretty. You're finally able to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup or defending President's Trophy team, projected to win the Stanley Cup, broke everybody's playoff brackets that year, 2 years ago, and everybody still left. Panarin went to New York. Bobrovsky went to Florida. Duchesne went to Nashville. Where did Dzingel go? I forgot where Dzingel went, but he went somewhere too, not Columbus. So, it's a situation where the Blue Jackets have just not been able to keep any players around. And now Dubois wants out, and he gets traded. So, it's a tough spot. Now, here's the other thing. Pierre Luc Dubois is on a 2-year, $5 million contract. So, it's $2 million, or it's $5 million per season for the next 2 years. So, the Winnipeg Jets will pay Pierre Luc Dubois $10 million in 2 years, which is a good contract. They could work on contract negotiations in the offseason, as early as this offseason. On the other hand, though, Patrik Laine is a restricted free agent at the conclusion of this year. So we've already heard that Jarmo Kekalainen wants to get him into Columbus. They have a 2 o'clock game, which starts, by the time I post this video, it'll probably be starting already, and I'll be watching it. And the Blue Jackets will probably be without Dubois and Laine, because Dubois is going to Winnipeg and Laine is just getting in. So it's going to be interesting to see. They probably want a long-term extension. We're going to find out over the next week. We're going to either get the official that Laine wants an extension with the Blue Jackets or not. I think he's going to sign long-term in Columbus. But also remember, this whole situation with Tortorella, how is that going to work with a guy like Patrik Laine, who's known for being a little bit of a personality? I don't want to say it's in a good way or a bad way, but a guy like Pierre Luc Dubois, who is not a personality at all, got really frustrated with a coach like John Tortorella. How is a guy like Patrik Laine going to do in that situation? Laine reminds me a lot of an Evgeny Malkin-like player, or even Alex Ovechkin. And it's not a knock on those guys, because it's not just because they're Russians, but they are known for not being great at back checking. That's just a part of it. It's not necessarily a true thing, but to an extent, there is something to that, and Laine reminds me a lot of that. So are we going to start seeing Laine get benched after he signs this big contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets because he's not a good fit and everybody's miserable? This is going to be an interesting situation. Now, they also pick up Jack Roslvic, like I said, a middle six center. They just signed him to a 2-year, $2 million contract. I believe it's a little under $2 million the first year, a little over $2 million in the second year. So good signing there. He'll be coming over the next couple of days, weeks, depending on how long the COVID situation is. Because he has not quarantined at all. So they have to quarantine him and then bring him into Columbus. That's the plan for the Blue Jackets. Both 23-year-old players in Dubois and Laine picked back-to-back in the 2016 NHL draft. Unbelievable how that works out, right? I mean, we're talking about a situation where you've got the second and third overall pick getting traded for each other, within 5 or 6 years of getting drafted. And that's the story of today's NHL. And the fact that we're seeing this kind of trade mid-season, it's just showing how the NHL is, obviously with the cap situation. Winnipeg is also retaining 26% of Laine's contract on this year, so it's the same cap hit at $5 million per for each of these players, which I believe Laine's original contract is 7 point something. So that 26%, it ends up being $5 million each side, so no cap issues here. Besides Jack Roslvic, who is another $2 million on the Blue Jackets roster. But the Blue Jackets have enough cap space, so that's not much of a concern. A lot of excitement around this situation. Now, I think the irony at the end of the day is you look at these two teams. Dubois so badly wanted out of Columbus. Laine so badly wanted out of Winnipeg. And they end up going into situations where, is the grass really greener on the other side? Because Winnipeg, it's freezing cold all the time. It's a really small city. It's a very hardcore fan base, which I agree. Winnipeg Jet fans, I do want to go up to a whiteout there in Winnipeg. And then you also have the Blue Jackets, who are a small college town in Columbus, the middle of Ohio. And you have a coach that could be kind of a pain in the ass, and a general manager who has been known to be a stickler with contracts. So it doesn't seem like either situation is really a win for the player trying to move out. They'd probably like to be in California or in New York or Florida or somewhere warm or something of that sort. This is pure asset management, and a great job by the ownership or by the management of both sides. And they're, hate to say it, they're kind of sticking it to Laine and Dubois and saying, hey, listen, you wanted to get traded, right? So we'll send you to sub-zero temperatures in Winnipeg, or we'll send you to John Tortorella's fiery coaching situation in Columbus. So they want it out so bad, but is it really worth it? Because now you're just in a situation that's really not that far off from where you were. Who wins this trade? It's really hard to argue. But the thing is, I look at it like it's hard because Patrik Laine, I worry that there's going to be an issue between him and John Tortorella, and he's not going to put up the points that he's done in the past, which I think could be another issue. If he's not putting up points, he's frustrated, and he's got a fiery head coach, breathing down his neck. Laine's not going to be that successful. Roslovic could end up being the better piece in this trade long term. Call me crazy for that. We'll see what happens. Dubois, I think he's going into a great situation in Winnipeg. He's going to be playing with really talented players, even on the second line. If he's on that second line, the Blue Jackets take a big hit down the middle, especially until Roslovic gets there, because it's Domi down the middle, Texier, and then I don't even know the bottom six centers because they're just kind of non-apparent to me. So, is Mikko Koivu still there? I don't even know what's going on with Columbus, but it's a tough situation. The Blue Jackets started the season out of the gate pretty slow, especially with all this Dubois stuff during training camp and all this going on. And the Laine situation hasn't been much better. So, are they happier? I don't know. We'll see what happens. A winner? I'd like to think that Laine is the most valuable asset in this trade. And what I like to do is, and some of you mentioned in my comments, the best player that gets traded is the team that wins. The team that acquires the best player wins the trade. Doesn't matter the other assets. You could give me 10 first-round draft picks for Sidney Crosby. But at the end of the day, if those 10 first-round picks are, 28, 25 overall in the draft every year because you have, that guy, it doesn't really matter because you're never going to get that Sidney Crosby. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think won this trade? Do you think there's a winner to this trade? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.